welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning family, the Visionaries, thank you for your continuous love and support. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please feel at home. If you enjoy my content, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and please don't forget to like and share. We know that the EFF has celebrated their 10th anniversary this year, and they've made a huge impact in South Africa. I also knew that Namibia had an EFF party, but as I was scrolling through YouTube, I discovered that Liberia also has an EFF party. Did you know that? I was surprised. And as I watched the video, I smiled to myself because I was seeing another Julius Malema coming to the table. He spoke confidently, articulately, and passionately about what he was talking about. He was addressing the press and other members of the community, discussing about the elections that had just occurred. He wanted to congratulate the vice president of Liberia for winning the election. And he addressed the fact that the president wanted to recall and have a second election. He said the EFF would not stand for that. But then he carried on and talked about how many countries, including the West, were trying to come in and teach them about democracy, and that they didn't need to be taught about democracy because they knew all about it. As an EFF president, he spoke passionately about the people of Liberia and what was happening on the ground. He addressed this with confidence and conviction. And I laughed because I think he took a play out of Julius Malema's playbook. As he continued to speak, and I'm going to play this interview for you to hear, I saw many similarities between him and an early Julius Malema. Let's take a listen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Command. I want to say thanks to the National Chairperson, Mr. Steve Coliver, the Vice Chair for Economic Affairs, members of the Central Revolutionary Council, the leadership of the DOR, dear President. We want to say thank you to the media for always granting our call to come to duty. You are here to execute a duty that reflects our people's joy. And so you are called the full Estes because you represent the interests of our people. On behalf of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia and on behalf of the general public, we want to begin by congratulating His Excellency Josiah Malema and hereby refer to him as President-elect respectively, and urge all presidential candidates, including George Weah, the outgoing president of our country, to extend to the former Vice President of Liberia a congratulatory message conceding defeat because the people of Liberia have spoken. On voting day, the people spoke clearly in a resounding way. They spoke defending their constitutional obligations and rights to make the determinations on which party political leadership that will govern the countries in the next 6 years. We want to say this, fellow citizens and members of the press, that the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia is moving at the stage to congratulate the former Vice President as the next President of the Republic of Liberia, because we will not tolerate any form of self-arranged second-round elections in our country. The Liberian people have spoken. They have decided the fate of this country by electing His Excellency Taddeo-Nxumalo as the next president. Segments of the ruling party and other misguided individuals in the border politics of our country have decided to work behind closed doors with the National Elections Commission to pursue a possible second round. There is no second round in these elections. The Liberian people have spoken. They have given the mandate that they granted George Weah 6 years ago to the leadership of the rescue mission. We will not countenance and tolerate any nonsense from the ruling party in terms of arranging a self-imposed rerun or any form of second round. We will not accept that. The people have spoken. We want to inform the international observers that are in Liberia that we will not allow anyone to come here to pretend that they can lecture us about democracy. We will not allow any international observer to come here and talk about peace when Liberia is already at war. We are at war against hunger. We are at war against poverty. We are at war against corruption. We are at war with devices that undermine human existence. So we will not allow anybody from the United States, anybody from ECOWAS, anybody from AU, anybody from anywhere EU to come here to pretend that they can lecture us about democracy. We are the masters of democracy. We are the oldest African republic. We understand the values of democracy, and we will continue to fight for democracy. Some of the people in the international organizations that are demanding that we EFFL and other political institutions refrain from making radical political statements that will jeopardize the peace. Even in their country, they have problems. Some of the people who come from Nigeria could not even organize effective elections, but they are here sleeping in a hotel demanding that we refrain from making statements that will jeopardize the peace, when there is already no peace. Our people are not at peace because coups is eating the country and we are at war against coups. So those who believe that we are here to listen to them, to lecture us about democracy, we will not listen to anybody. The EFFL believe in superior logic. If you come here and don't conduct yourself in such manner, we will deal with you and deal with you aggressively. Fellow citizens, members of the press, we want to say to the Elections Commission, this country deserves better, and we are all stakeholders of the peace that we want in Liberia. We are all stakeholders of the electoral process. We want to encourage the Commission to do the utmost thing. This nation, democracy is the cornerstone and bedrock of our society. Our community deserves to survive. Our nation deserves to survive. We will not allow anybody at the Electoral Commission to work with the CDC as they're doing. We have gathered intelligence that the former president of Liberia, Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is working with the National Elections Commission to thwart the election result in favor of CDC. We want to remind Mrs. Sirleaf her days of playing with Liberian are over. We want to remind Mrs. Sirleaf that we will not allow her dominance anymore in the politics of Liberia because she represents the corrupt elite class. We will not allow the corrupt elite class to continue to dominate our politics and make decisions on our people's welfare. We will stand firm as EFF to defend the democratic credentials of our country. Even if people will have to say that we are radical and extremely organization, we will accept it because we are defending democracy. You can remember, those who are telling us and pretending to lecture us about democracy, few years ago, I will remind you that when the Arab Spring, when Comrade Mohamed Bouazizi took on the bold step to fight for freedom in Tunisia, they were hailing him. When Comrade Mohamed Bouazizi took the bold step to fight for freedom, they were hailing him. When the revolution spread across the Arab Spring, these very people who are demanding that we subscribe to their norms, they were there sending weapons to Libya, they were there sending weapons to Syria because they were supporting the so-called liberation struggle in the Middle East. I want to say this to you. The West have always stood by their interests, not the interests of the ordinary people. So we will not take any instructed note from the West. We will continue to pursue our global political agenda. We want to make sure that this country is governed by law. We want to make sure that this country is governed by men who believe in Liberia. We want to make sure this country is governed by people who care about our people. Look at our health sector. Look at our education. Look at the agriculture sector. There are young people who are graduating from university every day and every month and every year, but they cannot find a job to do in any of the sector. We will continue to pursue the path that will give Liberia self-respect. We cannot continue to subject ourselves to any country that will derail the image of our country. Liberia is a country we call home. We do not call America home. We do not call Great Britain home. We do not call Germany home. We do not call Nigeria home. We call Liberia our home. This is where our naval strength is buried. This is where we will fight for our freedom. This is where we will defend democracy. This is where we will fight for the total economic liberation of our country. We cannot continue to sit down and fold our hands. Our citizens go into poverty, and every year people are dying in the Red Sea. Every year people are dying in the Atlantic in the name of migration. The Europeans are killing our people in the Red Sea. They are killing our people in the Atlantic in the name of protecting their territorial boundary. So we will fight to make Africa better. Nobody will come here to teach us about democracy. Fellow citizens, members of the press, you journalists, you have a responsibility. You monitor the elections. You saw the outcome of the elections. You went to places and took pictures of tally sheet. You have them in your possession. Some of your friends who are regime collaborators, they are there reporting fake results. They have to refrain because this country must be freed from the hands of George Weah and his people. They have done more harm to the country than you can ever imagine. We cannot sit and allow you journalists in the media to continue to undermine the democracy of our country. You journalists in the media that are collaborating with CDC because of money, you have to stop because you can't continue to undermine the existence of your country. This is not professional journalism. You cannot receive money and announce fake results on the radio simply because you are allotted airtime from the regime. You have to stop. You journalists that are doing this thing must stop. We all have to join hands together to fight for our country, not for you to take money for CDC in the dark and then fight for CDC in the day. We will resist you as well. You are enemy of the state because you are working for CDC. You are enemy of the state because you don't believe in your people. You are enemy of the state because you self-prioritize your pocket. And the journalist who will prioritize his pocket or pocket again the well-being of the people, that person is an enemy of the state. We will conclude by once again repeating ourselves that we call you today to send out a resounding congratulatory message to His Excellency Joseph Nxumalo for winning these elections on first round. We call on political parties, we call on civil society organizations, we call on the Muslim community, we call on the Christian community to begin to congratulate Joe Biden as the next president of the country. We want to say this to you, that we will not allow any self-imposed rerun of the election. We will not go to any second round. The Liberian people have spoken. The money we should be using to go to second round, we need to use that money to build the health sector. We need to use that money to put medicine in the hospital, because 6 years now, CDC has refused to put a single paracetamol in the hospital. They have rendered our health sector paralyzed. We do not need to go to runoff election. We need to use this money to build our health sector. The elected president needs that money to begin in a 100-day deliverable to begin to do these things. We cannot allow CDC to come out and parade with fake results that will push us to go to runoff election. I conclude on this. Mr. Salih, we encourage you to take your hand out of the election. Take your hand out. You represent the elite corrupt class. We do not want to do any business with you. Take your hand from the election because we want a free, fair, and transparent election. We want this democracy to be protected. We want Liberia democracy to be rated in the world. We want the country to be on the map. We can't continue to sit down and see our country being called a fragile state. We are tired of people calling Liberia a fragile state. We are tired of people calling Liberia an underdeveloped state. We are tired of seeing the airport the way it is. How can you be a serious country? Every day you receive only one flight to your country. How can you be a serious country when your airport is completely dark? How can you be a serious country when APN terminal is breaking our at the poll, breaking the country apart. This is not a serious country. We want to make sure to make Liberia a serious nation. That's why we are here. Thank you. May God bless you and save our state. No question. No question.
Well, what do you think? Do you see the similarities or do you see differences? I think he is definitely passionate and will make an excellent opposition leader. I'm curious though, will EFF parties start to pop up in other African countries? What do you think? Is this just the second of many more to come? Like to hear your thoughts and ideas on his speech, on the EFF party having an impact across Africa. Drop them below and let's have a conversation. Please don't forget to hit that notification button and of course, like and share. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.